So, Simon, I can't remember this happening in the past. What did the Tottenham players do? They put out a statement yesterday. We would like to reimburse the fans with the cost of their match tickets from St James's Park. We know this does not change what happened on Sunday, and we'll give you everything to put things right when we play against Manchester United on Thursday, etc., etc. This is the first. What do you think? How far does this go to appeasing those who travelled at the weekend?
Well, I think the fans would much rather see a performance on Thursday than a token gesture. And of course people can turn around and say, like me, I did it years ago. I did it for the Palace fans on behalf of the players because they were dreadful in an away game against Barnsley. But the point is that the Tottenham players, they're going to take the heat out of the situation. They're going to turn around and somehow climb away from their performance. This wasn't about Stellini. This isn't about giving 75,000 back to fans, which is going to cost each player 5,000 quid, 4,000 quid, which is less than 10% of their weekly earnings. This is about playing and performing with a degree of respect for whoever you're supposed to represent. Stellini's academic. That wasn't about Stellini.
No.
That was about them. That was about players like Romero. They think they're too good for it. They think they're above it. They think they're better than they actually are. Good players, but they're not better than they actually think they are. And it's about all of them on the pitch, from the centre forward to the goalkeeper. They were all at it, all underneath it, all poor. They woke up.
Why didn't you make the Palace fans reimburse?
Why did I make the players?
The Palace players reimburse the fans.
Because I took responsibility for the players, because they were my players, i.e. the manager's players, but they played for me.
And he had more money than sense back then.
Well, I just felt it was the right... Well, listen, you know full well, going into the players and asking them to do anything, about anything, asking them to put their hands anywhere near their pockets is something that's greeted with resistance, and I couldn't be bothered with the players. I was disgusted with the players as the fans were.
Do you know what? Simon makes a great point, Jim.
No, I think it takes the heat out of this conversation so the players get away from the actual responsibility that they had. They were a disgrace on Sunday, and it's nothing... Giving some money to go, we recognise that. Oh, well, great. Fantastic. Well, why were you a disgrace in the first place? Because that's how you are.
Do you know the mindset he's talking about? And we were just talking a little bit off, and he's spot on with it. What happens sometimes, as a player, you start deflecting blame elsewhere because you think you're too good for this and too good for this team, or this ain't my fault. Why can't someone come in and sort all these out because I'm okay? And that's the ego. I've been there. It's a bit like walking to a reserve game, or when you have to play with the kids sometimes, which we've all had to do, and you go on the pitch just thinking, obviously not playing with kids, but your ego gets the better of you, and you think, so Romero's a World Cup winner now, and all his mates that he played with, they're all playing Champions League, they're all winning things, a lot of them are big-time footballers, and he's looking at them going, I can do Cruyff twins in my own corner of my own box, I can duck under headers and wait for it to go back to key, it's a mindset thing. And actually, it's going to take a little while for that to change, and it's going to take someone to come in and.
This wasn't the same Romero that I remember last year crashing into a challenge in the middle of the park with a Leicester player that sent the Leicester player with long hair flying up in the air.
He'll still do that when he's angry,
but the same disposition wasn't being deployed. Yeah. There's a different attitude being deployed. So yes, what it does is it's a nice little sidestep. It's a deflection. We'll pony up 2,500, 3,000 fans, an average ticket price of 25 quid. It'll cost us 75,000 quid between 18 players. It's £4,000 each. We all earn £100,000 a week. It's going to cost us. Our take-home salary is £60,000 a week. We're going to give them £4,000 of our money, and everyone will go, well, that's commendable. But it's not a great precedent, but it's commendable. Well done, Tottenham fans. The bottom line is why did you produce that performance?
Does it set a precedent?
No.
I'll tell you who won't think it's commendable and won't care and give two halfpennies. Is the however many fans at the Tottenham Stadium holds if they're 2-0 down after 20 minutes to Man United on Thursday. Those ones who travelled up to Newcastle, maybe you've appeased them, 3,000?
I know this is mean-spirited. There's a part of me that hopes that they are, and I hope that they get it full barrel from 50, 60,000 fans rather than the 3,000 poor sods that slept 300 miles up to Newcastle to watch that crap, that cheating, disrespectful, diabolical crap that Spurs churned out on Sunday.
I mean, elsewhere, we now know the club's confirmed the start of this new fan advisory board. What's this all about? The club is delighted to share details of the new fan advisory board, which will represent significantly greater fan engagement. I mean, this is all damage limitation, is it? Well, you can say that if they did that on the back of a fag packet after Sunday afternoon. No, I assume this has been something that's been planned for some time. Don't you remember that Magna Carta-like charter was put together by the fans of Tottenham, telling people precisely what they were entitled to? The timing's interesting, isn't it? Well, of course, the timing. You can talk about timing. Yes, of course, probably they think this is an opportunity to bring it forward, and perhaps they were going to do it at the end of the season. Perhaps they think it's a good thing to do now. People will read between the lines and make of it what they want. If they didn't do it, people will turn around and say we want it. If they do it, people will say you're pulling a lever to get around the problems. Yeah. The problem is that football fans, to some extent, and I'm one of them, are entitled
Our little entitled group that we are, we're entitled to see everyone empty the entire contents of their pockets. We're entitled to have Middle Eastern owners that have more money than national debts. We're entitled to have the best players. We're entitled to this and we're entitled to that. So they're, of course, now entitled to a fan engagement. But it is right, because you can't, on one hand, sit there like the football fraternity did and said, without fans, we're nothing. Look at COVID. You could see the lifeblood of the game without the fans, and then turn around and say, by the way, we're not interested in your opinions. So it's a natural progression, but it's a balancing act.
Why isn't it there already? I don't understand. I mean, surely clubs for years have been engaging with the supporters now. This is a bit like...
Oh, that's what I mean, Danny. It's the timing as well, isn't it?
This is structuring it a little bit more so that we can lead you to believe that before we make the decisions that we're going to make,
we're going to take your opinion on board.
Yeah. It's a great ability to turn around and convince the fans that it was their idea in the first place.
Yeah, the box
you know,
tick.
It's the bait and switch thing.
Yeah,
we're going to do this, that, and the other, and the fans will think it's their idea. You should do this. That's a great idea. We'll do that.
Yeah. Interested to find out what the Spurs fans, especially those who travel to St James's Park. Any of you out there listening this morning? I'm sure you are.
Give them their travel money back as well. If you're going to go in your pockets, go in properly.
Yeah.
Each one of them must have at least 200 or 300 quid to get up there and spend.
After what you witnessed,
let's get some proper dough.
Do you know how hard it is?
Do
you know how hard it is getting money off footballers?
I do.
When you've been a captain at a Premier League team and you think everyone's earning, even back then earning good money, you do a Christmas, kitty for the staff or whatever it was. Yeah. Getting money off them is hard work.
But there's an argument, Simon, that they shouldn't get any money back because the fans went there of their own volition.
You pay your money, you take your choices.
Pay your money, you pay your choice.
Absolutely. And obviously the players know that there's a heat coming down and they feel they want to deflect away from it in the same way that Jordan Henderson whipped together a group of people to try and avoid the pay reductions during COVID by giving a paltry sum to the National Health that no one asked for, right? It's all about bait and switch. But the irony of Spurs is that they've only gone and shot themselves in the foot by removing the loyalty points that the fans get because they've had a refund.
I can see that. They are saying they're going to...
I read that in the papers earlier on.
Well, there's Cliff, one of the listeners this morning. I've heard that Spurs reimbursed the fans. Yeah, that's true, but also heard that they took their loyalty points off them as well. If that's so, it's disgraceful. Cliff, from what we hear, is they are trying to readjust that. So if you went to St James's Park, are you happy to be reimbursed? Not just your ticket money. Should you not get your travel money as well? Do you want the whole lot? 03717 223344 81089.
They've got a problem if United win 5-0 on Thursday at Tottenham, haven't they?
Oh yeah,
60,000 of them.
Here we go again. How much will we owe you this time?
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.